now I'm here doing the podcast, feeling great. But before I came home today, after work, I stopped by the library. So, check this out. I had a couple DVDs to pick up, right? Because I'm cool like that. I rent DVDs from the library because, it's a good way to get, free access to media. I get DVDs, I get books, I get fucking all sorts of shit. And it's not even really free. It's kind of in your taxes, but whatever. It makes me feel good. It's all free. Free love. And I stopped by the library, right? And as I'm going, I always hit a red light in life when my attitude's fucked. Or maybe it just seems that way. It's like, when you're in a fucking frustrated state and you just want to get shit over and done with, that's when all the little hiccups in life seem to materialize, I find. Just the little annoyances in life, right? Because, like I said, I worked a long shift. It was hot. It was stinky. It was sweaty. And, it was what it was. I was very grateful for the work, but, I was, tired and shit, right? And I just wanted to get home. I had The Sopranos on DVD, Season 2, word up. I'm still living in 1999. Hold up, it is. But, I got, The Sopranos Season 2 on DVD at the library, waiting for me to check out, right? I had ordered it. So I go to the library to pick it up. Well, guess what? All the checkouts are down. All the self-checkout tills at the library are down. Oh, there's a power outage. And I was hitting red lights on the way home from work. I was bumping into these fucking meandering, fucking Dr. Seuss, Mother Goose, Cat in the Hat ass, fucking bumbling annoyance, fucking blobs of humanity just wandering down the street indefinitely in a fog. People that just don't even look where they're going. They're walking into poles. They're walking off curbs. They're getting hit by buses. Just morons, right? So I'm coming home from work just trying to fucking squeeze my way through the humanity of life, right? Let me get these goddamn DVDs and go home and watch some Sopranos. Let me go record the podcast and just chill the fuck out, man. It was a sweaty day, to say the least. It was a hot one in the whole town tonight. Fire, fire, fire. It's a hot one today at work, and I just wanted to get home and chill. Well, I get to the library to pick up my DVDs.
There's a family with a little girl. I don't care that everybody's in a rush and wants to do things. I'm a cute little girl.
She's checking out her first book with her first library card. Oh, what a special moment. I'm standing there oh, God.
Oh, it's my first library book.
And they're all, oh, and everyone's staring at her and shit. I'm like, oh my God, let me get this fucking DVD about Italian mafia murderers. Please, let me get the fuck out of here before I kill this entire family. I'm just standing there oh. But luckily, due to my sobriety, due to my self-work, I don't make a scene. I don't make a bug out of myself when I'm feeling in a funk. I can be a man about it. I just kind of stood back for a moment, and I'm just okay, this is their special moment. They're having a good time, whatever. I'm not trying to cast a cloud, but I'm just definitely not a part of the party. I don't find this shit cute. I want to strangle this little retard. I want to get my fucking shit and get on with my motherfucking day, player. So I'm okay, I'm just going to step back a moment, let this shit ride. Well, as I step back, they take forever.
Oh, hey, little girl.
And then the librarian, right? She's this fucking weirdo. There's no other way to explain it. She's
oh.
She's giving the thumbs up to the little girl, and I'm just standing there staring at the librarian. The little girl has left. I'm next in line. What the fuck? She's still engaging with this girl from afar. Bye! And the girl's bye! They're waving at each other and shit. I'm oh my God, the transaction ended 2 minutes ago. Can I please just get my shit and go? The lady starts giving me attitude, right? I hand her the DVD. She goes, what? What do you want me to do with these? Well, I obviously want to check them out. I wouldn't stand in line to return library books. I don't know if you've been to the library recently, ladies and gentlemen, but generally speaking, it's old times. You just throw it in the bin and you're gone. Why would I stand in line to return books? You fucking... How can you be a retard and a librarian? How could you be a stupid librarian? Does this make any sense? I thought librarians were smart. Librarians. I thought librarians were smart. The Dewey Decimal System. Shh. Are you eating in here? They seem to know so much. So anyway, she's giving me guff. What do you want me to do with these? I'm like, I don't know. Check them out, maybe? Okay, well, can I get your card, please? So I give her my card. And I'm just standing there. You know, I had to look away for a bit. That's that little silence there. Then all of a sudden I hear from behind the till, can you take this, please? I look up. She's like holding the card towards me. Holding my library card out at me. Can you take this, please? Then she tries to backpedal and try to be pleasant. Because I'm the kind of person that, you know, like if you hand me a lighter, I'm going to put it in my pocket. And, somebody lends me their lighter and I go home and I wind up having 5 lighters in my pocket. So now she's talking about lighters? What, you're a chain smoker, pothead? What are you, a crackhead? Like, what kind of fucking librarian are you? I'm going to revoke your fucking bookmark in a moment here, miss. I'm just like, oh, cool, okay, whatever. So then finally she like checks out my fucking DVDs and she goes, and I know what you're thinking as you leave. They're going to beep, but don't worry. Like, like the little like sensors? Like the sensors were down for the day or some bullshit like that, right? Like, the sensors that, when you leave a library or you leave fucking Walmart and if the item hasn't been demagnetized, it'll let off a little alarm, right? Beep, 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 or whatever, right? So she goes, and I know just because our system's down, when you leave, you're going to hear a beeping sound, but don't worry about that. And she's like giving me all these instructions and shit, right? I'm already halfway out the door. I'm like, okay, miss, whatever, see ya, bye. And I was on my way. But that's what it's like when people always try to like grab your attention. Like I said, whenever I'm just in that fucking annoying state of mind, there's always a little hiccup. A little red flag, a little red light. And, through the acceptance, I'm trying to accept that happens from time to time. It's your world, people. I'm just living in it, right? And, oh yeah, check this out. This is fucking crazy. So as I'm standing in line there at the library waiting for this stupid child to check out her first fucking book. It's my first book. Oh, yay, it's my first book. I'm standing there waiting for that fucking moron to check out her first book. I look at the till. I'm like, hey, what is that? What is that? And I grab a flyer off the till at the library because I'm cool like that. And this is I have the flyer right here in my hand. Let me read it to you. Reading programs and story times at the public library. Drag Queen Storytime. Hey, that sounds fun. Friday, August 24th, 2 p.m., second floor community room. Drag Queen Storytime. Join us for a special story time with guest drag queen performer. Celebrate pride and diversity with stories of love, acceptance, and all the different people and families across the world. Will also be available afterwards for photos. No, thank you. Children of all ages and their caregivers are welcome. No registration required. No shit. Who wants to be, last thing a sex offender wants to do is register, right? Large groups should call ahead of time to ensure seating. Oh, yeah. We're selling tickets, yeah. They're moving numbers over at the fucking Drag Queen Storytime. Oh my God. And yeah, that's at the Toronto Public Library. And there's a picture of this drag queen. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's like a conflict of interest. I mean, maybe not a conflict of interest. A conflict of interest is when, yeah, there's a secondary interest to the main interest, right? Is that what conflict of interest is? So I don't know if you'd call this a conflict of interest. I just think it's tasteless. I mean, if you want to do education about drag queens, why not do it in have it involved with the education system somehow? Don't creep and lurk around at the fucking public library trying to, why do you want to fucking do a story time, like scare the children half to death. You should see this fucking picture. This woman looks like, back in the day, there used to be this book I used to read in school called like Miss Viola Swamp. Miss Viola Swamp was an illustrated book about like this teacher, and she goes on vacation. And when she goes on vacation, all the kids act up in class. Well, in order to get the kids back in line, they send in a substitute teacher, which is basically the original teacher dressed up in drag, called fucking Miss Viola Swamp. She comes in and scares the children half to death with her fucking crazy makeup and fucked up looking face. And I don't know, this drag queen story time, I mean, you know, I know, like, what I like about it is like the idea of like, yeah, you can introduce the world of, you can introduce people of that type to people that are young and be like, oh, hey, you know, it's actually quite a, you know, it's a thing in our society. We have different people of all different, you know, backgrounds, and these are people that exist in our community, and they're good people, and there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be, you know, there's nothing to be mean-spirited about. You know, you introduce it to the children. But it's just, you know, it's like there's a sexual component to the whole drag queen thing. I mean, I'm hard as a rock right now telling you guys about this, right? But I mean, like, there's definitely a sexual component to drag queens, and like there's a strange subculture about it, and it's like, do you really need to? I don't know if that's effective. Like, you're gonna have a drag queen read to children? Come on. Anyway, kind of a little interesting thing. Send me in some feedback on that. What do you think about that? At jr.thepodcast@gmail.com. That's jr.thepodcast@gmail.com. Hey, if you're a drag queen, why don't you send me in a story? Read me a story. If you're a drag queen, all my drag queen fans out there, please send me in some of your favorite story time stories. I don't know. It's kind of fucked. There's a drag queen in my building who, like, you know, I always say, like, you know, by the light of day, he's the greatest guy, but like at night, she turns into a real bitch. Like, she gets fucking crazy. Like, she gets drunk and starts like trying to grab your cock and shit. I remember one time, like, I came home, right? And she was drunk, and she's like, hola, papi, hold the elevator for me, papi, right? I'm like, okay. And I'm like, close. I'm pushing the button for the fucking elevator to close, right? I'm trying to get the elevator to close. And like all of a sudden I see this big mannish hand just like, whoa, like grab the side of the fucking elevator door and like fucking pull it open, right? And she gets into the elevator. She goes, come have a drink with me, Poppy. And I'm like, yo, I don't drink anymore. I don't drink. And she goes, you always say that. That's how much I got sexually harassed by this fucking drag queen in my building, to the point of she has a fucking catchphrase every time she sexually harasses me and I say no. She goes, you always say that. What? No? A resounding no? That's what I always say? Like, take a fucking hint then. So there's a very strange sexual element to the whole drag queen culture, and I don't know, man.
Speedy Gonzales wouldn't like it if you were reading to him in drag. He wouldn't take that nonsense.
And yo, getting dressed is tough. Like, do you remember when you were a kid? It was a headache. You know, your mom would always give you a warning. Okay, we're going to the store. I want you to go get dressed. We're leaving in 10 minutes. You're like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. And you like run to your room. You're like, oh, God, what do I do? You know, you got your fucking boots on your head. You got your fucking pants around your neck. Like, you didn't know what the fuck to do. Trying to loop your belt loop together. Like, it was a goddamn horror story. Never got dressed in time. Oh, you're not ready yet? I'm like, in a minute. You're fumbling around like a fucking blind person. It was tough. Remember field trips? Your teacher would be like, okay, line up with your partner. And you guys have to like line up and like fumble with each other's zippers and trying to get your booties on and your mittens and your goddamn fucking mucklucks. It was a goddamn nightmare. So like, how are you supposed to like explain that concept to a child? A drag queen. You hear that? Goddamn ice breaking in my freezer. It's always getting defrosted. But like, how are you supposed to explain that to a child? The concept of like, okay, well, like, I know, like, okay, let me explain this to you. Like, I know it's really hard for you to get dressed right now. You're having a very hard time dressing yourself. But just think about this. Someday you might even want to dress up like your sister. Or your mom or your teacher. It's just one of those things. Like, once you learn how to dress yourself, you might want to dress up like, I don't know, your favorite sportswoman. Like, what? Children have a hard enough time, like, fucking, the basics, tying your shoes, for God's sakes. They can't even master that yet. They got to know what, like, it means to, like, have something inside of you that makes you want to dress against your gender, or how you might want to have gender fluidity. These are large concepts that, like, are they really suited for a drag queen to tell at story time? I want to see that little girl this is my first book from the library. I want to get her in there, Yeah, get her to story time. First and last book she ever takes out from the library. She, like, runs screaming out of the library. Wait, you forgot your bookmark. No, never again. Drag queen story time. That's a good idea, But hey, like, acceptance, man. People need to be accepted. So, I don't know. Definitely hit me up with some feedback on that one.